In the mists of medieval Germany, when kingdoms rose and fell, and faith shaped destiny, there lived a woman whose mercy touched heaven itself. Her name was Saint Achahildis of Wendelstein, a noblewoman, a mother, a saint. A woman whose gentleness tamed pride, whose forgiveness brought miracles, and whose cherry tree bloomed in the heart of winter. Born around the 10th century in the lands of Franconia, Achahildis came from a noble family. Her name, Achahildis, means God holds in battle. It was a name that carried strength, but her true power lay not in battlefields, it lay in compassion. As the daughter of nobility, she could have lived in luxury, surrounded by silk and silver. But instead, her heart turned to the poor. While others dined in grand halls, Achahildis walked among the hungry, carrying bread and comfort. She married into the household of Wendelstein, near Nuremberg, a castle overlooking forests and rivers. And there, she founded a small church dedicated to Christ, one that still stands today, whispering her story through stone and wind. But it was one simple act of forgiveness that sealed her place among the saints. One cold morning, a servant in Achahildis's household stole a goose from her flock, a desperate act of hunger. He slaughtered it, cooked it, and hid the evidence, or so he thought. When the theft was discovered, others demanded punishment. Yet Achahildis did not raise her voice. She simply looked at the man, trembling before her, and said gently, "May mercy bring back what pride has taken." She approached the pot where the goose had been cooked, lifted her hands in prayer, and before the eyes of all, the goose rose, feathers shining, life returning to its eyes. It flapped its wings, stepped down from the table, and walked back to the flock as though nothing had happened. Even the cooked goose had been restored. Forgiveness had become a miracle. There was another moment, one that revealed Achahildis's tender humanity. One winter, as snow blanketed Wendelstein, Achahildis was expecting a child, and in a quiet moment, she confessed to her maid that she longed for cherries, sweet, red, summer fruit. The maid, saddened, said softly, "My lady, cherries do not grow in winter." But Achahildis smiled. If the Lord can raise the dead, he can bring fruit from frost. And when she walked to the garden, a miracle awaited her. A cherry tree in full bloom, branches heavy with ripe fruit against the snow. To those who saw it, it was a sign, a symbol that faith can bear fruit even in the coldest seasons of the soul. Achahildis continued her life in humility. She used her wealth not to build palaces, but to build hope. She supported widows, clothed children, and prayed daily in the little church she founded. And when her final days came around 970 AD, she was laid to rest in that very church, beneath stone, silence, and the soft echoes of the prayers she had once spoken there. Centuries later, in 1447, her tomb was rediscovered. The air filled with a fragrance, and pilgrims spoke of miracles once again. Her story refused to be forgotten. Saint Achahildis's story is not one of power, but of peace. Not of conquest, but of compassion. She teaches us that forgiveness can raise the dead, not only in flesh, but in spirit. She reminds us that faith can bear fruit in winter, and that holiness is found in mercy, not might. When we forgive, when we serve quietly, we, too, become miracles in a weary world. If Saint Achahildis's story touched your heart, share her light. Let others know that holiness can bloom anywhere, even among geese and winter cherries. The saint who forgave the geese, Saint Achahildis of Wendelstein. Subscribe for more sacred stories. The Saint's Path. This is the Saint's Path. Faith beyond time. Miracles beyond reason.